Hey everybody, so this will be a video to show how I'm going to take the bumper off my 2018 Porsche Cayman and replace the Bi-Xenon headlight bulbs. So you'll very quickly find out I am not a YouTuber. I suspect there'll be some people who find this video who don't normally watch my motley collection of videos online. This is going to have zero production value. I don't put a lot of effort into this, but there's not a whole lot of video showing how this is done, and most of the ones I've seen leave a little bit left to questions, so I figured I'd add this to the collection, and hopefully it'll help somebody figure out what to do as they watch me fuddle through this. So first step, we've got a couple of T25 Torxes to take off. I've got to take off my pumpkin indicator here, and there should be another Torx screw up underneath that light, so we'll find out when we get there. Sorry for the noise. I'm old school. I've got an air ratchet. I don't have one of the new fancy battery powered ones, so you may turn the volume down. So to take off the indicator, and yes, I know I still have my pumpkin indicator, all you really have to do is kind of grab firmly on both sides and pull straight out and then back. And then it's got the usual mystery connector there. And then supposedly there's one more screw, which on my car seems to be missing. So about a year ago I caught a rock through one of the air conditioning condensers and lost all the coolant, so I have a feeling the shop I had replaced that forgot to put that screw in. Well, I'll go do the other side. Yeah, so the other side came off just like the first. The screw was missing there as well, but if you were doing yours, there should be a vertical Torx screw right behind where the indicator light snaps in. So got to take some of these trim pieces off. First we got to pull out the battery cover. That just pops out. It's been a while since I've taken one of these off, but I believe you have to lift up from the back. Let's untuck it from the rubber gasket there. I believe you lift up on a clip that's about here, and then you pull back. Yeah, and there's a little hook there that snaps up underneath part of the bodywork. So lift up, stuck from the front gasket, and then slide straight back. Maybe. Oh, there we go, straight back. Now this one's got two snaps and then the little hook. And my understanding, again it's been a long time, is this is just held down with 4 snaps. Yeah, so those all came off real easy. It's none of that guessing, am I about to break the part or am I actually about to break the connection? Those come off obviously supposed to snap, so there's really no stress about doing that. So the next thing we're going to do is take these three, I guess it's only 3, I thought it was 4. 3 screws out. These are T30s, so that'll be quick and easy. Okay, so this is one of the pieces that made me want to film this, because this little clip here seems to give people some trouble. I've never taken one out. Apparently you're supposed to hook onto it and just pull it straight out. It looks like a flimsy little aluminum clip. A lot of times people come in with a hook and grab that. I just happen to have this bent screwdriver in the toolbox, so I'm going to see what happens here. Try not to bump the camera. bump the camera. Oh, well, okay, so that's a lot of drama about nothing. Oh, I see what goes on. I'll see if I can get a clearer video of this. I don't know if this is going to show up on camera or not, but the bumper comes through and there's this little tab coming through, and that clip slides through this notch and cinches the bumper up to the top of the fender. So that's why this little hoop's here, that hoop clears that little tab. So it's pretty obvious once you take it apart. Really not a big deal, so wouldn't be afraid of it. Alright, so here we are under the nose of the car. Looks like there's about half a dozen of these T25s, it appears, that have to come off. I don't know if these have to come off or not. I suspect that just holds this lip on, but I'll let you know here when I find out. Yeah, I saw some real YouTuber talk about these. These screws have little shoulders on them, so easier to keep them straight when you put them in a big pile. Yeah, this is where we dropped the bumper on my head. Oh, there's that second clip that fell out. When I took this guy out, it fell down inside the bumper. Alright, I think that's all of those. Go back up top and see if we can get it to come loose. Well, we'll see how this goes. I had a Cayman before this I took the bumper off of once, but I haven't ever taken it off of 718 here, so that side just popped forward. Did that before I turned the camera on. Feels like I'm caught. Okay, so yeah, it does slide forward. There are some things you kind of have to lift up on to get it clear. And I'm snagging on a wiring harness over here. Figure that out and I'll get back to you. Well, here's what I found out. So I'm looking at the driver's side. I took the wheel well liner off because I could tell there were some things holding up the bumper here. There's a couple of big electrical connectors here, and then a small coax one here. I suspect these are what's run on all of the radar sensors, and who knows what the coax is for. So those unplugged really easy. These things are always a bit of a mystery, but this one you just push down on that little tab and it actually released real easy. The coax had to push down pretty hard on the purple piece up there, but it pulled out. But then there was one more thing holding it up. My car's got those really useful headlight washers on it. So this is the supply line from the washer fluid tank, and it connects to this pipe here. The way this disconnects, if you've ever used a Kimquick fitting in a lab, there's a little hook here, a little clip. See if I got this on camera. Sorry, my hands shake a little bit. That clip slides through this little hole and holds the two halves together. Once you pop that clip out, this is just an O-ring seal, so it pops off real easy. And then that fitting will slide forward in its slot to a big hole. So I can slide it forward and then it'll drop out. I don't know if I can do it one-handed or not. So yeah, it'll slide forward into this big hole and drop out. Now the bumper will come loose here. I will go pull it forward. Hopefully that's everything. We'll see here. We still got something over on this side. Yeah, there's another one of those big red connectors on that side, but I got enough slack. That's not so ideal, but it'll survive. Car's a daily driver. It's seen more abuse than that. Just add one more piece of information, since I actually took the liner out. This is the back side of the headlight module. If I take this cover out, I think I probably have to take that off. You can actually see the back side of the headlight bulb, and I could technically replace it through here. Since I've come this far, I'm going to go ahead and pull the headlights out the front. That way I don't have to mess with the liner on the other side of the car. Okay, so this is probably an important tip. The headlights come loose by, there's a couple of 10mm nuts. There's one here, and then there's one way back up in here that you got to take off. Easy enough with a 10mm ratchet box end wrench. This one I can take off fine. This one I was about to get off, and I'm thinking, how in the hell am I ever going to get that thing back on there once the headlight's back in position? Well, don't take the nuts off, just loosen them slightly. Sorry, near an airport. Somebody's learning how to fly. These are slotted, so just loosen the nuts and you can slide the whole thing forward. Then all you got to do is take the wiring harness off. These things are always a mystery how you get them unlocked. This one, you pry back and down on that, and then you can wiggle it out. You can see this car's been on the road for a lot of years. This one was pretty crusty. I had to pry a little bit to wiggle it off. But so you don't break the lock, you just pull this one down, and it kind of rotates back as you do that. So you're going to push straight down that direction, or kind of pull straight back, and then you can wiggle the connector off. I'll get the other headlight off, and then we'll see how to change the bulbs. This one. So this first one's pretty easy to get to. This other one, not so much. In fact, I gotta put the wrench at an angle just to get up on that nut. Just give it a couple of turns, and then we should be able to slide the headlight forward. And all we gotta do is get this connector to come loose. Voila. Headlights free. Okay, well, it's a little later in the day. I had ordered replacement bulbs from Amazon. They were supposed to be here last night, and I got delivery notice that they'd be here this morning. Then they changed it to 10 o'clock at night, so I waited around for a while. Then it started raining. I said, screw it. And I found the right bulbs at local O'Reilly's, which none of the other parts stores had them. So take that as a lesson, boys and girls. Buy locally. Stop buying from Amazon, I guess. And points to my boy Derek there. He's right about O'Reilly. I tell you, they've bailed me out a couple of times recently. So to take the bulb out, this is the back side of the headlight module. There's the front of the headlight. You do not need to remove this. This I think is probably the ballast. It'll come off with this cover, but you do need to take this cover off, which has got 5 screws. So with the screws out, you can lift this off, and there's these guideposts that you got to lift it up over. Yeah, that was crusty. You know, probably should have blown the dust off the outer surface of that before I lifted the cover, but... So here's what we're after. I don't know how well it's going to show up here, but there's a bracket that swings up this way and catches on two posts up here. So what you need to do is push that in, push both of these ears in. Easier said than done. So once these get pushed in, then you can pull this back, and that also unlocks the power connector for the bulb. So you just lift that out, and then your old bulb will just come out like that. Now, the new bulb, you don't ever want to touch with your fingers. So when we put the new bulb in, we want to make sure we've got gloves on. I'll be back. Okay, so here's our new bulb in the blister pack. I'm using the Sylvania branded bulb, although I noticed it says Osram on the back, which is the other OEM name. And the Osram bulbs online were cheaper, so I don't know if it's just the electronics on the bulb that are co-manufactured, or sometimes things like lights go through a more stringent binning process, sorting process at the factory. Maybe Sylvania's paying for more expensive sorting, or maybe they're just doubling the price. I really don't know. You figure that out for yourselves. But this goes in, and then the bulb just kind of fits in. There's some little springy contacts in there that grab it, and then we want to plug our cable back in. Hold back up where it's supposed to be. And then snap that binder back in place. And should be good. There it is. Because I didn't like the look the way that was sitting in there. Okay, so then it's just a matter of screwing the cover back on. The only tricky thing here is you've got these two alignment posts. You want to get over those alignment posts before you set everything down in. And then, Alright, there we go. Oh, you can see my headlights aren't in the best shape. I actually don't know what this is. I thought this was clear coat that was coming off. It actually was real bad. And then I started going through a different car wash. And yeah, I take my car through a car wash. And use one with a little... It's not a touchless, which I know, or sin, black car, I'm going through a car wash, but hey, it's a daily driver. It's got french fries under the seat, and there's probably a drink in the cup holder right now. But this is actually going away, so I don't know if whatever it is just finally wearing off and I'm left with bare polycarbonate, or if this was some buildup from the chemicals in the car wash that was caking up on the lens, but at any rate, I don't know. This would be a really good time for me just to polish this down and clean them up, but every time I've ever done that on a car, it's come back and looked like really, really bad after about 6 months of UV exposure. I've never found one where the UV protectant actually did anything, so if you guys know of a UV protectant that actually works, shoot me a message. So here's another little trick I found that might help somebody. So we got our headlight. These two protrusions here have to go into matching holes in the back of the bodywork. Otherwise you're going to have a hard time getting the headlight to slide in. So we've got our two nuts here that go into the slotted holes. That's fine there. They're down, and we'll engage the slots. But I'll show you what happens here. You can see how the headlight's not fitting, but it seems like it's pushed back as far as it can go. The camera here. What needs to happen is those protrusions need to pop out of those two holes there, like that. And then your headlight's pulled up nice and tight. So that's, I'd save somebody a few minutes of fiddling around. The forward nut on this little guy's pretty easy to get to. There's the forward one. It's pretty easy to get to. Dang up my paint with a wrench here. It's not totally tight. However, the inboard side is pretty far back up in here. And I can get the ratchet on it, but as the nut tightens up, the angle I have to put on the ratchet binds it up. So it'd be really handy to have a 10mm box end ratchet that had the little pivot on the back. I don't have one of those, so I've got to do this 1/8 of a turn at a time here with the open end. We'll fast forward past all this. Well, I ended up not bothering to record putting everything back together. There's nothing too special to know there other than watch out when you're putting the wheel well liners back in and the bumper back in. You need to kind of get the right tabs in at the right time. I had to pull some of it back off to be able to get the wheel well liners back underneath the edge of the front bumper, but anybody who's willing to go that far into the car is going to figure that out pretty quickly on their own. Took me about 3.5 hours all told. The light bulbs cost me $300 at the local O'Reilly. The ones I had online were about half that price, but like I say, they didn't show up in time, so who knows, it's possible that there's a significant quality difference there, but should have just bought local, would have been faster. Good luck if you do this on your own. Thanks. Bye.